Your engine isn't broken, it's confused. 5 sensors that almost nobody ever cleans are sending your computer bad information right now, and that bad information is exactly what turns a 15-minute fix into an $800 invoice. Today we're going through all 5, what they actually do, how a bad reading gets blamed on the wrong part, the warning signs for each one, and how you clean them yourself before anyone touches your wallet. Stick around for the last one. It causes more unnecessary repairs than the other 4 combined. And stick around for the end too, because I'll walk through how to keep all 5 clean going forward so you never deal with this again. The oxygen sensor sits in your exhaust and tells the computer whether your engine is burning fuel rich or lean. It's also the single most replaced sensor in the industry, and there's a reason for that. It's cheap for a shop to test, easy to explain, and customers rarely push back on the price. When a lean code shows up, the oxygen sensor gets blamed first. But a lean code just means the computer detected a lean condition. It doesn't say why. A vacuum leak, a dirty air sensor upstream, or a clogged fuel injector can all trigger the exact same code. Replacing the oxygen sensor without checking those first is a guess, not a diagnosis, and guesses on your dime aren't cheap. The warning signs are usually a slight drop in fuel economy, a check engine light with a code related to fuel trim, and sometimes a faint sulfur smell from the exhaust. A reasonable shop checks the upstream causes before touching the oxygen sensor. If they skip straight to the part, that's your signal to ask why. This one gets blamed on your transmission more than any other sensor on this list. The throttle position sensor tells the computer exactly how far you've pressed the gas pedal, and the computer uses that to time shifts, not just fuel delivery. When the reading gets erratic, shifts happen at the wrong moment, too early, too late, sometimes a hard clunk between gears. It feels exactly like a transmission problem. Usually it isn't. Carbon buildup on the throttle plate is the real culprit in most cases. It physically interferes with how the throttle moves, so the sensor reports inconsistent readings because the throttle really is moving inconsistently. Watch for hesitation right off a dead stop, a rough or surging idle that won't settle, and jerky shifts that seem to come and go randomly rather than every single time. A can of throttle body cleaner and 20 minutes of work resolves the majority of these cases completely at a fraction of what a transmission inspection costs. Most people have never heard of this one, and even some technicians confuse it with the mass airflow sensor. MAP stands for manifold absolute pressure. Instead of measuring airflow directly, it measures pressure inside the intake manifold, especially important on turbocharged engines where it also tracks boost. The giveaway symptom is a rhythmic surge under steady highway load, not a misfire, more like a pulse. On turbocharged cars, you might also notice boost that feels weaker than usual, like the turbo just isn't pulling the way it used to. The sensor's vacuum port or line clogs with carbon and oil residue over time, and a blocked passage means a bad pressure reading. Clearing that passage with a thin wire or compressed air often solves it completely, no new sensor required. This is the one that makes people panic, and panic is expensive. It tells the computer exactly where the crankshaft is at any instant, which controls the timing of both fuel injection and spark. When it starts failing, the symptoms are dramatic. The engine cranks and cranks without starting, or it runs fine for 20 minutes and then stalls dead at a light, refusing to restart until it cools down. That heat-related intermittent stall pattern is the classic sign, and it's exactly the kind of symptom that gets people towing their car in a panic. Before jumping to sensor replacement, check the connector. It sits low on the engine, exposed to heat, oil, and road grime, and corrosion on those pins alone can cause the exact same intermittent signal loss. Cleaning the connector with electrical contact cleaner and a bit of dielectric grease sometimes solves the entire problem for a few dollars, not a few hundred. Save the biggest one for last, because this sensor causes more unnecessary repairs than the other 4 combined. The mass airflow sensor sits between your air filter and throttle body, measuring incoming air with sensing elements thinner than a hair. Over tens of thousands of miles, a microscopic film builds up on those elements: oil vapor, dust, carbon, and there's no warning light for it, just a slow decline in accuracy. A dirty MAF sends bad data to the computer, which then throws lean codes, rich codes, even catalytic converter efficiency codes, because it's trying to compensate for information that was wrong from the start. A shop chasing those codes without checking the MAF first can end up replacing oxygen sensors, injectors, even a catalytic converter, parts that were never the actual problem. The signs build slowly, a gradual drop in fuel economy over weeks, a rough idle that seems to come from nowhere, hesitation on acceleration, and eventually a check engine light that ties back to multiple systems at once, which is exactly what confuses shops into chasing the wrong parts. Cleaning it takes about 15 minutes with a dedicated MAF sensor cleaner spray, never brake cleaner or carb cleaner, which can damage the delicate element permanently. A friend of mine was driving a 2017 Honda CR-V that developed a rough idle and a check engine light. One shop quoted new oxygen sensors and a fuel injector cleaning service, just over $900. The idle barely improved. A second opinion found a contaminated MAF sensor. 15 minutes and an $8 can of cleaner later, the idle smoothed out completely and the code never came back. $900 chasing symptoms of a 15-minute fix nobody had checked first. Before you authorize a repair over a rough idle or a check engine light, ask one question. Did anyone clean the sensor before recommending a replacement? If the answer's no, that's worth a second opinion. Subscribe for more videos that show you exactly what's worth fixing yourself before anyone else touches your car.